Alright guys, welcome to game number 3 here in the Clan Milk $2,500 HoN tournament. I'm Zyori doing a little bit of solo casting coverage today, and we are here in the third match of our coverage today. TT eSports facing off against B-Rez, that's right, Easy Breezy, cover girl, I don't know, never heard of him. Should be interesting though. As we talked about, this was a very, very large tournament. Lots and lots of teams did actually come out. Lots of teams did come out, so yeah, you know, early rounds, this is kind of how it goes. You have to deal with the little stompies. That's okay. That's okay. That's what the open tournaments are all about. So we have to get through these early rounds. I believe we're going all the way up through the round of 8 today. The semifinals and the finals will be coming up tomorrow. I'm not sure who's going to be covering that. I'm not sure if it's going to be HoNcast or the Clan Milk casting team themselves, or a combination of both. But of course, there will be coverage for the semifinals and the finals. I don't know if I'm covering up to the round of 8 today, just doing some coverage. The more, the merrier, at least, as some would say. Like I said, all the streams, at least that I could find, are cataloged on Zyori.tv. So if you go and look at the calendar, you can see HoNcast and some of the other first-person point-of-view matches. I don't believe anybody from TT eSports is streaming, though. Don't quote me on that. At least they weren't last time I checked. Maybe one of them started up. I am not so sure. Anyhow, let's take a look at this game here. Of course, another best of one as we are in the third round of the tournament. So, again, winner take all, loser goes home, winner moves on to the next round. Blind ban's going to come out. The Legion side going to start out with a ban on Bubbles and Silhouette. Hellborn side going to pick up blind bans on Ophelia and Tempest. So the Hellborn side going to opt to ban some junglers here. Sort of interesting. I guess they're really not interested in going up against junglers, as they've been a little bit less popular recently, so sort of interesting to see the blind bans coming out there, but still, it does leave a couple of options open. There are quite a few heroes left on the board as we see the bans continuing. Locked heroes, we do have Tundra, Magmus, Torturer, Scout yet again, Fade, and Shadowblade. So, wow, some more interesting heroes in this pool. But, you know, this is one of these kind of fairly standard pools where, yeah, Scout and Shadowblade, kind of the throwaway picks. These other 4 heroes I'm quite confident will get picked up. Tundra being locked is quite the treat right now. A lot of people saying Tundra is one of the strongest heroes, period. Absolutely ridiculous. The problem with Tundra, though, you need someone that can play him competently, and there aren't that many people that can do it. He is a very, very high skill cap hero. So regardless, it is always a pleasure to see someone play Tundra, and I'm glad he's going to be in the locked pool here. Would be interesting to see a Shadowblade, though. Certainly would be interesting. Let's follow up by the bans here. Let's see who we won't be seeing in this game. It is going to be Polywog Priest. Aluna actually going to be banned, as TT eSports Des made a habit of picking her up. Armadon, Valkyrie, Nymphora, and Electrician all going to be banned subsequently after the Aluna Polywog Priest. So, yeah, fairly straightforward bans as well. Like I said, Aluna one that isn't banned quite as much, picked up a little bit more frequently, but still not surprised. Yeah, the Valkyrie ban is a little bit interesting. Of course, TT eSports is one team that is really, what's the right way to, the right word to explain this? They have a lot of people that can play Valkyrie. They can. I think TT eSports is just like, oh, we need a hero or go-to. Well, let's just put Valkyrie in. You know what? Just go with Valkyrie, because what's the worst-case scenario? We have like 4 people that play confident Valkyrie. They play her Suicide. They used to play Valkyrie Magmus all the time. I can see why that Valkyrie ban is going to come out against TT eSports. Though she's not. She's one of those heroes again that's pretty powerful, but not usually isn't going to pick up the game and take the game, put it on her back, and carry them to victory. Though it happens, still sort of interesting nonetheless. Picks coming out. First pick for TT eSports, gonna be Pebbles. Not surprised to see that whatsoever. Nymphora is banned, however, so that deadly duo is not gonna be possible. Glacia is still on the board, though I have a pretty good feeling with Talba is gonna be, or well, Slicks here is gonna be picking up a Glacius to complement this Pebbles. Not 100%, but pretty confident. Interesting that B-Rez opts for the first pick Witch Slayer for Sagan Archer combo. Archer not so you know, out in left field, but the Witch Slayer in that first round really quite interesting, especially since they have the last pick. They definitely could have worked in Witch Slayer there if that's one of the heroes they were going for, and picked up somebody slightly different. Of course, the benefit to doing the way they did Witch Slayer first isn't totally indicative of what they're going to go, so we'll see what they do with that wild card pick. Obviously, Slick's putting a lot of thought into this, though. I still think that Glacius looks awfully tempting, though there are a couple of other very powerful heroes on the board. There's the Glacius going to come out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bubbles possibly come out as well, as he is still left on the board. Parasite on the board as well. We'll see. Maybe even Wretched Hag could come out here as well. Is Bubbles actually banned? Oh yeah, Bubbles is banned, pardon me. So no Bubbles going to come out, but certainly Wretched Hag could be a viable option here. Or they could go for something slightly different, maybe not quite as orthodox. Pardon me one moment. Sorry. Had to go shut the door. Some people have arrived. So sociable. So what did we miss? Interesting. Two sort of wild cards that we wouldn't have expected. At least I certainly didn't expect. Empath going to be the last pick here for TT Esports. And over here on the B-Res side of things, easy breezy. CoverGirl going to go ahead and pick up Jerizaya. So that is definitely an interesting lineup, and I was going to say, what are they going to do with these next two picks? Going to go Torturer Magmus, and then I would imagine the last pick coming out of here is going to be a Fade, though. Do they have the lane set up for it? They may actually opt for the hard carry again, maybe part of the reason why they picked up that Empath. Very well could see TT Esports move within Scout. Nope, they are going to opt for the Fade, so this is going to be interesting. We are going to see Fade in a dual lane with the Empath, most likely. Of course, solo Tundra, so that makes me a little bit curious. I mean, is it going to be Empath Pebbles? I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Empath is definitely a hero with some potential, but what's interesting about Empath is usually you see her mixed with a hard carry. Last time we saw Empath, I think it was with a Predator, and that makes a little bit more sense. You know, seeing her mixed with someone who really can benefit from that attack speed early on, that level 6 mark, pick up some kills. I don't know who that's going to be in this game. I mean, it is going to synergize nicely with the Cold Shoulder from Tundra, so maybe that was some of the logic. I don't know. It's really sort of an interesting draft. So we'll see how it plays out and exactly how they decide to lane it. I mean, you have to keep in mind that TT Esports, or I should say Slicks, did know that they would have the ability to first pick Tundra out of that lock phase. So that's why I sort of point out, all right, I could see some synergy between the As-1 inside somebody with the Cold Shoulder. All right, you know, maybe a little synergy there. They were pretty confident they were going to pick up Tundra. We'll see. Interesting stuff, nonetheless. Now, the Hellborn side, their roster has a couple of problems, at least in my humble opinion, as well. And I'm kind of curious exactly how they're going to lane this as well. They do have a lot of supports, and what really makes me nervous about this team is, are they going to have the team with enough damage output? You know, I mean, Magmus going to be playing support, it looks like. Not going to be going the Hatchet build, so that's going to be support, and Magnus probably going to be seeing a solo Jerizaya. I mean, they have a lot of options of how they want to lane this. Forsaken Archer with any of these Sure Suns would be great. Forsaken Archer Witch Slayer, Forsaken Archer Magmus. Either of those would be fine lanes, so they may opt for a solo Torturer and, like, a Jerizaya Magmus. This is a really weird draft. I don't quite know what to make of it. I don't think it'll be a support Torturer. Suicide Jerizaya, Torturer, Magmus, Witch Slayer, Forsaken. Does that sound about right? Torturer and Forsaken being the two farmers. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. We'll see. We're about to get out of this pause. So it looks like someone needs to take a Ninja Piss, and then we will get into it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, God, I didn't switch the overlay. Pardon me. There we go. That's stuck in that pause. Got totally distracted. So, anyhow, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying some of the coverage today. Plenty of other streams here for the Clan Milk $2,500 HoN Open on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It is 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we are located at the ZyoriTV headquarters. About, it's the 7th of June. 7th of June. So that's where we are. Like I said, you can see the other streams cataloged on ZyoriTV. Of course, follow all the social media at ZyoriTV on Twitter and Facebook. And of course, we did start a YouTube channel. I'm recording these VODs that will be uploaded to YouTube as soon as the stream goes offline. I would be uploading them now, but my upload isn't quite good enough for 1080p and uploading to YouTube. We will start getting some frame drops. But regardless, the VODs will be up right away. So if you have a YouTube channel, it is youtube.com/ZyoriTV1. Some asshole took ZyoriTV and then deleted it. So there's a little 1 at the end. Please watch Slick's Pebbles. Don't worry, we will see plenty of Slick's Pebbles in this game. So again, I'm really sort of preoccupied with how they're going to lane this. Looks like it's going to be Forsaken Archer Magnus going down here in the bottom lane. Solo Jerizaiah. So Witch Slayer Torturer, really a strange lane combination, though certainly has a lot of potential. We have seen Torturer with babysit style supports, and they should be able to shit all over this lane. That's really what this comes down to. They should have the potential, well, they do have the potential to just annihilate whoever they go up against. And it looks like it's going to be Tundra. Now, WTF is going to be a worthy adversary for them in the mid lane, going with 4 minor totems. Is a little bit tankier than usual here, sitting around 660 HP. So he is going to be the best, the hero best suited to deal with that deadly double stun duo that'll be in the mid lane, but he is going to have a tricky time. He is not going to be picking up much farm, and it's going to be a little bit rough. So we'll see how that fares. The sort of the contra of that is these two probably should be able to pick up kills. If they just break even in farm, it's going to be a detriment to Torturer that Witch Slayer is there soaking up that experience. Witch Slayer is really only going to be useful if he can A, keep WTF out of the lane, or B, if he can assist Torturer in picking up a couple of kills. So hopefully they can do both of those things. Magnus Forsaken Archer should farm fairly nicely against the solo Fade here. Leon Black can be playing solo close lane yet again, and he should be in, well, fair shape down here, though the Forsaken Archer Magnus lane can be quite deadly, pretty reminiscent of the Forsaken Archer Glacius lane. Looks like there's going to be a tri-lane up here in the top, though. Tri-lane Pebbles. Empath, Glacius, and Pebbles. This is going to be very, very interesting from TT Esports, of course, going up against the solo Jerizaiah. So one of these kind of strange tri-lanes, it's sort of a hero killer tri-lane. I mean, they certainly have enough disable between Essence Link, the Pebbles combo, and all of the nukes that Glacius can put out to set up some early kills. Jerizaiah is going to be a notably difficult target, though they may still be able to do it. Already some lane shuffle starting here. Is Torturer going to be the one to roam up to the top lane? So that is going to leave a solo... yes, thank you, Warmonger. That is going to leave a solo Witch Slayer here in the mid, which is really interesting for a couple of reasons. Mostly because I don't understand why we're going to see a support Torturer here. I mean, perhaps Torturer is going to roam up and be the recipient of the farm, as Jerizaiah has not picked up a hatchet, but that still just seems like such an odd choice to me. Solo Witch Slayer can be quite powerful. I mean, if he gets those early levels, he can definitely be someone that can make it happen. We're going to see some initiation here onto Jerizaiah. He's going to get dropped in a matter of seconds. Slick's going to be one to pick up the Bloodlust kill. Torturer is still going to be up here, but not much that he can do about it. So I mentioned Jerizaiah going to be a notably difficult target, but I guess not difficult enough. We're going to see some pressure onto Witch Slayer here as well. Tundra playing very aggressively, exactly what he needs to do. Leon Black going to roam up from the bottom lane and an easy peasy kill in the mid. So WTF now has officially won the mid lane. I think it's fair to say the tri-lane at the top has been successful at the very least. Starting off on a good foot as Slicks picks up that early Bloodlust, and down in the bottom, I mean, Fade's doing okay. Assisting in that kill is going to help him quite a bit. This Forsaken Archer actually isn't farming nearly as well as he should be, given that he's been free farming. Hopefully he can continue to pick up these creep kills, sitting only 5 and 6. So Fade only 2 and 0. So it looks like Forsaken Archer just missing a couple of the creep kills down there, which is a little bit unfortunate, because this is the one lane for the Hellborn side that is winning right now, because it's Forsaken Archer versus the creeps. Pretty hard to lose going head to head in that scenario, but still very unfortunate indeed. Looks like the lanes are going to go back to kind of pseudo-normal here for Witch Slayer, and Tundra still going to be the two going head-to-head here in the mid. It looks like Torturer and Jerizaiah are going to stay committed to the top, and Tundra going to man up a little bit onto Witch Slayer, but no kill going to come. So actually in the top lane, we do see Torturer with the Repel, so that is going to help this top a good bit, but Torturer just not farming at all. Torturer 1-1, Jerizaiah 0-1 as far as creep score goes, so it is complete domination. And that's part of the reason why I question bringing Torturer up here, because there are a couple of different options you have when going up against a tri-lane. As we talked about in the last game or the game before, your two options really come down to just sacrificing the lane, whether that means leaving someone like Jerizaiah or Tundra or Meraxis just up there to soak up some of that experience whenever possible, and kind of just sacrifice the lane, say, okay, you got us, you're putting all this into getting that one player farm, we're going to let you have it. That's certainly one way to go about it, and then just focus on winning the other two lanes. Give them that lane, but win the other two lanes. Or your other option is to do sort of a tri-lane of your own. Your goal just to prevent that one hero from farming and kind of forcing their tri-lane to be a bit of a failure, and hoping that your other two solo lanes will be able to get the better of the solo lanes that you're going up against. those are kind of your two options. Here they're doing something in the middle where they don't really get much benefit. Torturer is now up here, but Torturer is not able to farm. So they've totally sacked Torturer's farm, and they're not sacrificing this lane. They don't have really the power to combat against the tri-lane, so they're forced to play super defensive, pushed up against the tower, really nothing they can do. Pebble's still free farming away, so they're not achieving any of their goals, and they're actually hindering their Torturer by not allowing him to farm up here, just because they can't get close enough to the creeps to do so. And now, if they wanted to do this, why didn't they send Witch Slayer up here? That's my question. Why did they opt to sack the Torturer instead of sacking the Witch Slayer? I don't really understand it, and I can't really find a way to reason it in my head that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Magnus has now moved to the mid lane, so trying to help out the Witch Slayer a little bit, still leaving this lane for Forsaken Archer to free farm. She's sitting around 260 GPM, so that is a step in the right direction. I like the idea to move Magnus around, and if anything, now just send Magnus up to the top lane. If you're going to leave Torturer stationary in the top, you need to send someone else up there to at least be able to combat with the tri-lane. If not, pull Torturer out of that lane and let her just lane with Witch Slayer. Completely dumpster on this Tundra. It's not like Witch Slayer solo is the same as Witch Slayer Torturer up against the solo Tundra. No, Tundra wasn't farming anything, but now all of a sudden he's got 16 creep kills while Witch Slayer only has 14. Tundra's winning this lane right now. Why not just pull Torturer back and at least be able to win this mid lane also? That's sort of where I'm coming from, and I don't know. I would call it a mistake here from the Hellborn side. Looks like they may pay for that mistake a little bit here, as there is going to be some convergence on the top lane. Witch Slayer going to take some pressure in the mid. There's going to be an exchange, but there is going to be some action coming in the top lane. As ZyoriTV does fall, Leon Black can be the one to pick up the kill. No kill is going to come out in the mid, though everybody is kind of dangerously low. Tundra does have a double damage rune on, trying to connect with those piercing shards, but unfortunately not going to be able to do it. Witch Slayer going to come in looking to set up a stun, but not going to find the stun that he's looking for. Did opt for level 2 miniaturization as well, so going 3-2-0 as far as skill build for Witch Slayer. Kind of the standard, but certainly worth pointing out as well. So, you know, not quite as devastating as I thought it might be. Up in the top, Torturer did survive quite easily, but still a nice kill for the Legion team, furthering their lead. Going to get the GPM chart. Slick's in great shape, but Forsaken Archer in great shape as well. Has now finished her steam boots, and she is farming her way to victory down here in the bottom lane. In the mid, Witch Slayer going to be in a little bit of trouble. Glacius without enough mana to drop any more crowd controls. Witch Slayer, uphill auto attack, not going to miss for the win. A little bit of favorable RNG there for good old Watalaba, but he does secure the kill nonetheless. In the mid lane, WTF now going to have the opportunity for a bit of free farm. I'm not really sure what Magnus is doing. He's just sort of camped out in the trees here, pretending to be AFK, and I'm not really sure what the strategy is there. Up in the top lane, Riser going to be able to pick up the kill onto ZyoriTV. Torture doing a lot of return damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We are going to see Faye come up here. Look at the range on that Burning Shadows. Faye going to try and make something happen. Not Illusionary Veil, pardon me. The Essence Link going to actually secure a stun on the Torturer, but not going to do too much. The engagement continues, though. Beautiful chain reaction from Torturer, and it looks like that may spare their lives, but only delayed the inevitable. We do see Witch Slayer get taken out as Watalaba actually picks up the kill. All the while in the bottom lane, though, Forsaken Archer's free farm is paying off as she's able to push up the tower and pick up a completely unchecked tower kill. Not going to be the one to pick up that last hit, but still going to be a nice pick-me-up for the team. Gold that they desperately need right now. Forsaken Archer's farming around 320 GPM, so still doing a great job. Definitely picking up that last hitting a little bit, leading the way in creep score, actually surpassing that of Slicks, who's recently had to focus on trying to pick up these hero kills instead of those last hits. But Slicks is still in great shape, leading the way at 370 GPM. Now we do see Magnus venturing into the danger zone here. A beautiful lava surge through the trees. Going to keep him safe and sound for now. He is fast enough that he is going to be able to make it out, though. Tundra is in hot pursuit. Tundra not going to go for it. Not going to run uphill. Very, very smart choice right there. Indeed, playing it safe. I hate dogs. I hate dogs so much. Yep. So, anyhow here, B-Kid Pebbles, is that what it said? Yeah, B-Kid Pebbles, exactly right. Edward Norton, the Hulk, a.k.a. B-Kid. I like that. Yeah, this Pebbles has been hitting the gym. Look at that. Look at those arms, man. Look at those claws. Jesus. Pretty serious biz going on. Okie dokie. So, looks like more action could be brewing, though, as we see TT eSports all sorts of clumped up here down at the bottom rune. It's going to be Tundra, Fade, and Empath just looking for an opportunity. You're going to see Shiver pop out and do a little bit of scouting. Witch Slayer going to venture his way into potential trouble, though he is going to sense that danger is near, and he is going to be able to back up and survive. This Tier 1 tower in the mid, though, looking pretty juicy. I think TT eSports going to put a little bit of pressure on and possibly try and take it out at the very least. Fade going to be able to pick up a little bit of solo farm to try and make up for the lack of creep kills. He didn't pick up in the bottom lane. Forsaken Archer still yet to engage in any sort of fight. Actually, most of the players here on this Hellborn side are 0-0-0. And unfortunately, Witchslayer and Jeremiah 0-3-0. 6-0 as far as hero kills right now, but that is about to change. We do get stuck in a pause, but it looks like Riser is going to get taken out. This is one of those unfortunate situations where you're stuck in a pause, just kind of like, whoops. Sorry about that. Where you're stuck in a pause, just kind of like, yeah, this isn't looking so good. He is going to get caught in the Graveyard Stun, and Forsaken Archer with the piercing arrows straight through him. It's a pretty sick graphic right here. I think we could get like a nice quality screenshot, submit it to S2 for screenshot of the day. I don't know. The Illusionary Veil actually looks pretty sick. Let's take a screenshot. Why not? There we go. Screenshot it, guys. If only this was a little bit more of a tense situation. We pull out the ruler and do some John Madden stuff here. Alright, he's about 350 units away. He's going to be able to get off. No, we can't really do that here. Pretty much, let me do the play-by-play for this one. Riser's dead. That's about where it's at. Nothing he's going to be able to do here. I think a volley going to come out from this Forsaken Archer here in a matter of seconds, who I actually can't click on. But Riser just going to get dominated upon. Owie, owie, owie. So, the first kill of the game going to come out for Forsaken Archer right there. That is great news. For the Hellborn side, Forsaken Archer, their saving grace is going to get a little gold pick-me-up, sitting now at 320 GPM. Slicks does have his Steam Boots complete. Looks like he is going to be pulling up that gold, saving up for the Portal Key, of course. Although he is going to get engaged on down here in the bottom. Forsaken Archer going to follow up. There's the ultimate from Witchslayer, and Slick's going to go down. That's going to set him back just a little bit before he's going to be able to pick up that Portal Key. More engagement in the mid lane. Tundra going to be able to pick up the kill onto Torture. Looks like Magnus may fall shortly after, with Talba going to throw down that Ward of Rev. And that will secure the kill onto Magnus. The Tier 1 tower looking like it's going to fall. The glyph actually going to be used, but yet again, not sure why they use the glyph if no one's around to set up a deny or do any sort of defense. Just going to delay the inevitable a few seconds. Probably could have saved that for a time when they could set up a potential deny with those ports coming in. So, small misplay from the Hellborn side. Unfortunately, they do pick up that kill on the Slicks in the bottom lane, but still can't really get a favorable exchange, as in the mid they do lose 2 heroes and a tower of their own. So, Slicks, though, getting that tower kill is going to make up for most of that gold that he did lose. Still farming well above 300 GPM. 1-1 and 3 is, about 500 gold or so off that Portal Key, and of course, that is when he is really going to start to take off if he hasn't already. Hellborn side of things, though, other item pickups, haven't seen a hell of a lot. Forsaken Archer, as we mentioned, did pick up those Steam Boots. Hasn't really made another executive item choice past that, sitting with about 1,100 in the bank. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Nullstone. Knowing when there's a Fade on the opposing team, making it a little bit more difficult for Pebbles to use that Shut combo on you. Nullstone might not be a bad choice. She does have that magic armor, could certainly use a little bit more survivability. Notice how she did go for the Steam Boots, and I think that was a read on just how bursty this Legion team is. Doesn't want to get caught out. Or get caught with her pants down. So not too surprised to see that anyhow. I think kind of like the Ghost Marchers better in most scenarios, but still not too surprised to see that here. Looks like some action could be brewing in the jungle here. Torture and Forsaken Archer are going to get caught in kind of an awkward spot. Glacius going to drop a couple CCs. Going to be able to dodge the volley, and Fade going to come in. There's the opening onto Torture. A beautiful line stun from Fade. Going to set up an easy double tap. Slick's going to pick up both those kills, and indeed will pick up a double tap on 2 very valuable heroes right there. Absolutely beautifully done. Big plays by Glacius with Talaba juking the volley and sort of baiting them into the rest of the team, buying that little bit of time to get Pebbles as well as Fade in a position to set those kills up. Definitely a little bit sloppy, though. Running in blind. We're going to see some initiation onto Witchslayer. Tundra going to set up a very easy kill onto Buddhist right there. Now Magma's going to be in big trouble as well. Down he goes. Riser going to be the one to finish off the kill. So this Empath, I have to say this Empath really isn't having that driving of an effect on this game. I mean, Riser's playing very well, but unfortunately this is a pretty one-sided match, so it's not really the best display of what Empath is capable of, just because they're kind of so far ahead. Everybody on their team's looking good. You can't really look at this game and be like, yep, this is what Glacius is all about. 200 GPM, 12 minutes in. It's really not the case too frequently. Forsaken Archer's farm is still in good shape, though. It's starting to feel like we're at that point where, yeah, that's great, but it's just not enough. Oh my gosh, and the Legion's courier actually going to get taken out, so TT Esports is going to lose their courier. I don't think there was an item on it. I actually didn't see it sitting there, but I don't think there were any items on it. Very unfortunate for TT Esports. They need to be a little more careful with their courier. Of course, the 600 gold sunk cost right there, the 200 invested to upload or to upgrade it, and then the 400 needed to buy a new one and then upgrade it again. With Talba going to get taken out here, trying to counter ward Buddhist, is going to, well, be unsuccessful in his attempts, and of course pay the ultimate price as he does get converged on. So a noble effort from Talba, unfortunately not going to come out a successor. Witchslayer almost making the same mistake as he ventures into the jungle. A nice illusionary veil, unfortunately just not quite tight enough, and Witchslayer is going to have a path to run back behind the trees. So a noble effort there from Riser, unfortunately not able to set up a kill. Slicks has now picked up that portal key though. Looks like he is going to port to the mid and expect some kills to come out. Oh, we're going to port to the top, pardon me. But expect some kills to come reasonably quickly here. I'll be curious to see where Slicks goes from here. In games like this where Pebbles have so much free farm early on, we generally see them at least picking up a bottle, if not a ring of sorcery before that portal key, just because that timing window isn't so serious, especially if they're going to keep farming kind of like Slicks is right now. Usually would just see them pick up one or the other for some of that mana regeneration, so certainly going to be curious to see where he goes from here. Still no Ring of Sorcery on this Legion side whatsoever. That's sort of one of the reasons why I'm a little bit surprised to see Slicks not picking up anything in the way of mana regen. Speaking of heroes that haven't had a really driving impact in this game, I think Jerizaya is one of them. He's sitting 0-3-0. And I don't think he's even used that ultimate yet, which of course is a very important ultimate. Soul's Blessing can turn the tide in team fights, so sort of unfortunate that he hasn't really had an opportunity to support his team too much. They're going to be able to push this tier 1 tower in the mid lane, but all the while TT Esports does take out the tier 1 tower in the top lane. So that is certainly a break-even exchange, I guess. Really nothing too groundbreaking. Probably more beneficial for the Hellborn team than anything else because they're so far behind right now this early on. Any gold is positive. You know, any gold pick-me-up is certainly something that they can benefit from right now, whereas TT Esports really doesn't mind too much. They're in a very, very comfortable position. Tundra has now picked up his portal key as well, so that gives a lot of initiation power to this Legion side. Looks like Faye going to be pulling up gold as well. Very well, maybe going for a portal key also. Witchslayer going to fall down here in the bottom lane, going to get picked off by Fade, and Forsaken Archer needs to be a little bit careful as well. No one else in the Legion team is going to be nearby because they're all in the top lane doing some work. Looks like Pebble's going to go straight in with Empath inside of him, and he did pick up a kill on the Torture. Jerizai trying to turn it around, did at least throw out a heal and a protective charm that will ensure that no more kills befall the Hellborn side at the top lane. But down in the bottom, Fade doing some serious work against this Forsaken Archer as well, continuing to make things look very, very good for TT Esports. Like I said, Fade may be pulling up that gold for a portal key of her own, although may overcommit down here at the bottom tower. The ball is going to connect, and I think Leon Black might find himself with a one-way ticket to the grave. Very unfortunate there for old Leon Black. Definitely an overcommit into the tower. Nicely done by Magnus, though, to stun him right in tower range. Of course, the follow-up volley staggered very nicely. I was mentioning that portal key, though, just because it is a nice initiation tool. We have seen Fades do it from time to time, although not that they need additional initiation here, given that Pebbles and Tundra still can be a very powerful tool nonetheless, especially if you're not going to go the Codex route. Though they're so far ahead here, I wouldn't be surprised to see Leon Black try and split those boots and pick up an early Codex as well. Certainly could be a viable option here in this match. Pebble's going to go straight in and, well, almost going to secure that kill on the Torture. Tundra going to come drop the Avalanche shortly after to pick up that kill. Tundra is going to fall, actually, as Witchslayer comes in, drops the ultimate. Down he goes. Forsaken Archer actually going to be the one to pick up that kill. The action continues, though. Forsaken Archer going to take a lot of damage. There's the ultimate from Jerizaya, and that is what I'm talking about. Going to turn this team fight at least a little bit. With Talbot going to fall. Looks like Pebbles may fall as well. A beautiful response from this Hellborn team. A hat trick coming out for Forsaken Archer. That's exactly what they needed. Now Forsaken Archer is in great shape, tied in gold farm with Slicks, just around that 380 GPM mark. The oddball on the team, 200 GPM above the second place farmer, but still, that is great news. Looks like Forsaken Archer is going to be able to pick up that Nullstone. It is on the way via the courier, I do believe. Yeah, there it is. At least the Sustainer is on the way. So that is absolutely great news. A huge item pickup for Forsaken Archer. Going to make her much less susceptible to the Pebbles initiation, even if he jumps on her now. Even if Tundra jumps on her now as well. Going to have that additional survivability, especially once she picks up that Nullstone. Fade not going to go the Codex route, as I suggested. Could be a possibility. Is indeed going to go straight for the Portal Key. So a lot of gotcha mentality, as Breaky CPK would say. And certainly a little bit scary. Does have that bottle as well with a double damage rune, so anybody foolish enough to cross the path of Leon Black certainly will meet their doom, I do believe. Do you see Empath has now picked up a Ring of Sorcery, so it looks like that was kind of the plan all along. Possibly part of the reason why Pebbles didn't pick it up himself. Part of the reason Ring of Sorcery, I guess, is better on supports. Now, of course, they did nerf it, increasing the amount it costs to actually cast it. So it's actually more beneficial if support picks it up over the player that's actually going to use it. Of course, the other benefit on a hero like Pebbles, it just does add to that maximum mana pool, which, of course, is very important. You see some initiation here past the tower. Pebbles going to go straight in onto that Forsaken Archer. Fade going to follow up shortly after as well, but ZyoriTV going to be there to help support, and it will be enough to keep him alive. Beautiful piercing arrow is going to come out, going to do a hell of a lot of damage. I think Empath is going to fall. Another double tap going to come out here for Forsaken Archer. Beautifully done by the Hellborn side. TT Esports has lost most of the lead that they've picked up throughout this game now, finding two very cost-ineffective exchanges kind of back-to-back right there. We're only 18 minutes in, but still, they were ahead by a huge margin. Still up by about 5k gold, but that experience gap is closed as this Forsaken Archer continues to get scarier and scarier. Now with that Nullstone complete, she's an even more devastating force, really taking over the farm. Now just bordering that 400 GPM mark. Scary times indeed. TT Esports still in okay shape. They just need to be careful not to get too cocky here. They can't forget that they don't have a hard carry. Again, this is a best of one series, winner take all, so they need to be very careful here. Still plenty of room to turn this around, but they're playing with fire here. Don't want to get too cocky. They do need to keep in mind, however, that Forsaken Archer will eventually outcarry them. They don't have any agility hero on their team other than that of Fade, and of course not an agility hero that really is played like a carry. She doesn't have the stat gain to make it possible. You got to play her a little bit more like an Arubian assassin style, kind of sneaky, I'm going to blow you up as she's been playing here. I'll be curious to see where he transitions from here. I'm going to guess it'll be a Hellflower coming out, but actually going to be, oh no, pardon me, I was looking at the wrong inventory. It looks like Tundra going to be picking up what is that item called? The Necromium. What's the Han version of it? Why am I drawing a blank on this? Puzzle box, that's what it's called. Gonna be picking up a puzzle box. So, some more items being picked up here. Pebbles looking like he's going to be working towards a Shrunken Head. Now, in a game like this as well, Pebbles is going to be one of the heroes to start playing that carry role as the game goes on, and that's definitely something that we're going to have to keep in mind here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pebbles transition into a Shrunken Head, as I was just noting, maybe then even into a Demonic Breastplate, a Shield Breaker, or even an Elder Parasite. Any of those items would really work quite nicely, and some combinations of them as well. Even with the Orb effect from the Elder Parasite, Shieldbreaker still might not be a bad way to go. That certainly is a viable option on Pebbles in a scenario like this where you need someone to start to play that carry role if the game goes on long enough. And he will be able to stand toe-to-toe with Forsaken Archer at certain points in this game if his farm continues the way that it is. So just things to consider as this game continues on. Although TT Esports doesn't have a carry that you would think that combat with Forsaken Archer, Pebbles will play that role quite nicely. Although he really is the only one that can do it. I don't see this Fade being one, nor this Tundra to play that carry role. The bottom tier 1 tower for the Hellborn side is going to fall. Of course, they do score that deny, so that is a nice little victory for them there. They are going to fall behind in towers now. Only one tier 1 tower remaining, and it is for this Legion side here in the top lane. So you have a pretty action-packed game, though it is slowing down a bit here. Definitely not nearly as action-packed as it was a few moments ago. We are going to see Fade be one to move into a Nullfire Blade, it looks like. Does have the Apprentice's robes and did just pick up one of those Quick Blades. So all arrows pointing towards a Nullfire Blade, which is sort of a surprising pickup, although against the ZyoriTV it is... I say surprising because we usually see it on heroes like Valkyrie. There are a lot of heroes where, yeah, it's not a core item, but we can get it to counter ZyoriTV. Because Fade is agility, it does synergize a little bit nicer with anyone else on the Legion side, but of course that is just picked up to try and counter the effects of this ZyoriTV. Repel has been playing a fairly vital role in this game. So, of course, that Nullfire Blade is going to be quite helpful. We can observe, though, a pretty big difference in the farm here. We're talking about how TT Esports threw away that lead they gained. It was a pretty much even game as far as team experience was concerned. Then all of a sudden, they're ahead by 4k again, and we haven't seen too many kills. That's just speaking to how well TT Esports is controlling the map right now. They're farming so much more effectively. If you just look at the jungles right now, a full jungle just respawned for TT Esports, and a couple of these camps were still alive as the jungle respawned here for the Hellborn side. So speaking to TT Esports, just map awareness, map control, they're happy to take these static farm fests in games like this because they're going to come out ahead. They're going to be stacking the Ancients, killing it on every rotation, making sure to keep up and get maximum farm potential on their side of the map. map. The Hellborn side isn't quite doing that as effectively. We see they're all grouped up here, sort of waiting for a potential kill on Tundra, while everyone else on the Legion side is spread about the map, continuing to farm, clearing out the jungle. The Hellborn side not farming at all right now, and that's why we can see this big difference continue to grow despite the lack of kills in this static farm fest. The Hellborn side seem like they don't really know how to react to this right now. If you look at this GPM chart, they almost like they can picture this in their heads. So what do? Well, let's just make sure our Forsaken Archer doesn't die. That seems to be the strategy they're going for here, because they're all clumped up around the top, following this Forsaken Archer, making sure she doesn't get caught with her pants down. But again, while the Legion team just continues farming away. Edward Norton here going to be able to pick up his shrunken head, so he is in great shape, getting slightly bigger, hitting the gym, doing what the Hulk does best. You won't want to see him when he's angry, because he's going to start picking up kills. I am getting hungry for a little bit of bloodlust here. I'm hoping one of these teams will start to pick up the gas or kick it up a little bit, throw a little fuel on the fire, do something, bring us some action. Only so much theory crafting we can do here. We do see Forsaken Archer has picked up a quick blade, so probably going to be moving towards a Geometer's Bane. We do see Fade off to the side looking to make this happen. Still a good 20 seconds on that reflection. And looking for an opportunity, of course, being very cautious here. Does give clear vision over the trees, but does not want to walk over a Ward of Rev artfully placed like that one is. So definitely trying to be very careful here. He is actually right next to one by styling as well, so they do know where he is. Not going to give him the opportunity he's looking for to score that engage. So nicely done by the Hellborn side. Nice ward placements by Torture as well. You'll note that he has them in the trees, recognizing that Fade does have tree walking when that ultimate's activated. I love the placement of those wards from Torture. Absolutely well done. Looks like TT eSports is going to be able to do a little bit of poke damage here at this tier 2 tower in the mid lane, though B-Rez really not too eager to pick up a fight. Again, feeling that they're behind. They are looking for that perfect engage. I think really what they're waiting for here is TT eSports to overcommit to the tower. You know, with Jerizaiah, really the golden ticket is getting your opponents to overcommit, move in, and once they engage the fight, force that Jerizaiah ultimate. The thing you want to avoid is popping either not getting the Jerizaiah ultimate off or popping it, then just having the other team back up, reset the fight, then just come back in as soon as that ultimate is off and stuck on cooldown. So it's a very intricate timing that you need to hit with that Jerizaiah ultimate for it to turn the tide of a fight. And I think that's sort of going into why we're seeing this ping pong back and forth where neither side wants to overcommit. TT eSports really wants B-Rez to go balls to the wall, blow some of their cooldowns so that they can reset, as I was just talking about, and of course B-Rez on the opposite side. They want some overcommitment here. Looks like Slicks is considering it, though. He is in the front lines, going to at least chip away at the tower a little bit, because he is hitting damn hard, of course, in level 12. That level 2 ultimate does have quite the damage output. Slicks is going to go in. He is not going to connect with the Stalagmites. We're going to throw the Chuck onto Jerizaiah. They're going to lock him down before he can get the ultimate off. That's huge. Magnus going to go straight in, do a hell of a lot of damage as well. The tower doing a good bit of damage also, and it looks like a couple heroes on the Legion side are going to get taken out. Edward Norton as well as Empath are the only two left alive, and he's going to go down. So a beautiful cleanup from the Hellborn side. Savage 6th Streak coming out for Forsaken Archer, and I think the MVP in that fight is a Mr. Magnus. A beautiful ultimate went off. Unfortunately, didn't do much damage to Pebbles, but a 2-for-4 exchange. A beautiful engage from TT eSports. They locked down Jerizaiah before he could get that ultimate off. That's exactly how you want to engage a fight like that. Unfortunately, they just took too much damage. Magnus got that beautiful ultimate off, and the piercing arrow is doing a hell of a lot of damage as well. The one problem, they took out not Forsaken Archer, they took out Jerizaiah, but didn't have anything left to finish off Forsaken Archer. Also, Pebbles missing that combo was very unfortunate as well. Seeing Slicks miss that Stalagmite, the Chuck still disabled Jerizaiah long enough to secure that kill, but if he had landed the combo, he may have been able to do more damage, could have opened up more crowd controls to be used on Forsaken Archer. So you can see how that one little misplay to start off the fight can snowball how for your opposition to pick up some momentum there. So small misplay from Slicks, but we are going to see some initiation here coming in. Oh, WTF going to have that ultimate come up. He is going to drop it on Forsaken Archer now that that Nullstone's burned. Unfortunately, the Repel going to be used, though, and they're not going to be able to secure a kill quite yet. The Jerizaiah ulti going to pop, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to use it unless that damage is incoming after they've already committed. So a little bit of a waste of Jerizaiah ultimate. Looks like Forsaken Archer could pay the ultimate price here. A nice Lava Surge from Magnus, but Slicks is in the back. Does have that ultimate the Shrunken Head activated, pardon me, and is going to try and drop a combo. Going to miss another Stalagmite. Not sure what Slicks is doing here. This is way out of character. The TT eSports drafter, and unfortunately not going to be able to secure a kill. Glacius going to fall, as is Tundra, as is the Tier 1 tower. So a 3-for-0 exchange, even after that Jerizaiah ultimate that wasn't really properly placed. A team fight gone horribly wrong for TT eSports. They're just not connecting. And still, like I said, Slick's missing back-to-back stalagmites. Ouch. That is so painful. That really hurts to watch. Oh, pardon me. So this tier 2 tower going to take a lot of pressure as well. And it looks like it is going to fall. Of course, TT eSports with 3 dead, 1 just coming up. Not much they can do to pose a defense. That's going to hand another tower over. For the first time in this game, this Hellborn side is completely tied it up as far as gold and really pulled ahead in experience. They've picked up a lot of momentum, and now we're getting close to that point where Forsaken Archer is getting dangerous. It was a little bit of a joke earlier on when she was tied with Pebbles, but that was still when Slicks was peeking. He could move around, use that portal key to pick up some kills on a Forsaken Archer. Now Forsaken Archer's at the point where, god damn, I said god damn, she's strong. 450 GPM, she's way up over Pebbles, and he's even a leg up over everybody else in this game, so that really signifies how strong Helix is right now relative to everyone else. It's getting to that point where in these team fights, if they don't lock down this Forsaken Archer and let her sit in the back and just use that split shot to do all that DPS, it is going to be bad news bears. We will see Witch Slayer get taken out here at the top rune. Kind of unfortunate, but not the end of the world. ZyoriTV going to try and pour it out, and he is indeed going to make it. A hasted Tundra here, going to try and look for some more opportunities to pick up kills, but not going to find any such opportunities. So, nice play from TT eSports. Going to start curbing that little deficit they set for themselves, but tricky indeed. So Leon Black's still yet to finish up that Nullfire Blade. Sort of unfortunate as well that Repel really starting to have an impact in this game, and I think they're going to need to get that ASAP. Magma's going to go in with another nice ultimate here, going to be enough to annihilate Pebbles. Slick's going to get taken out before the fight really starts. The Piercing Arrow is going to come out, not the best place, but that is A-okay. I'm not sure what that Torturer was. I guess that's just a Torture illusion here. And it looks like Pebble's going to be the only one to get taken out as the rest of TT eSports scatters. Very nicely done by TT eSports to sort of scatter after the tower goes down, but picking up the kill on Pebbles, that is the target they need to focus on right now. I mentioned that in a situation like this, Pebbles is going to be the one that's going to turn into kind of a carry if this game goes on long enough. We're getting to that point where this game is going to go on long enough, and they're going to need Pebbles to start carrying. The fact that they can exchange a tower for Pebbles, Witch Slayer for Pebbles, however you want to coin it, that is a great exchange there for the Hellborn side. Forsaken Archer now has her Geometer's Bane. I love the build that she's going here. Nullstone into Geometers, very, very tanky, 1600 hit points, very nice indeed. She's actually one of the tankiest heroes on the field right now, second only to that of Pebbles, who of course is, well, fairly farmed and also a strength hero. Leagues ahead of Tundra though, notably Tundra did not go a very tanky build. That is great news for the Hellborn side though. The one big problem, even though Forsaken Archer is very farmed, you know, the game is still pretty even, 30 minutes in, all that good stuff. The one thing that's scary about putting this much into your hard carry is you need to make sure this hard carry stays alive. If this is a game that goes on for another 30 minutes and it's going to be all about Forsaken Archer, whether she gets taken out in team fights or stays alive in team fights, you're going to need to support this Forsaken Archer. And this actually reminds me of that DreamHack game with Fnatic Raid Call, where Era farmed 600 GPM, everyone else on his team was 100 GPM, and they farmed like 3 Storm Spirits. Anytime damage came on Magebane, they just Storm Spirited in for the duration. More damage comes, alright, drop another Storm Spirit. Oh, Magebane, you're okay now? Okay. How about another Storm Spirit for just good measure? That's the kind of stuff you need to do to make sure you support your hard carry, keep them alive in those fights, and there you go. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you have to do. So we need to be mindful of these things as this game continues. Is this Hellborn team going to start making those item pickups? Is there at least one Storm Spirit that's going to come about in this match? Magmus's farm, though, is looking pretty good. He does have a Blessed Orb, and he may be moving towards a Sheep Stick here. That would be my best guess. He is the second leading farmer here for the Hellborn side. Not that that's too notable, only 230 GPM or so, but he does have a nice, healthy gold farm. Of course, he has had that portal key for quite some while, and he's continuing to get more and more powerful. A couple tablets out for the Hellborn side as well on both Torture and Witch Slayer. Torture actually going to move into an Ice Brand as well, so it looks like a Frostwolf Skull Torture probably going to come out. I mean, I can't imagine that's going to be a Frostburn, so sort of an interesting play, not an item you see on Torture too frequently at all. Oh, guys, I'm running out of water. We do see Fade has now finished up that Nullfire Blade. We talked about that being a big item pickup to try and counter the effects of Jeraziah's Protective Charm. So it's going to be very important that she uses that properly. Of course, Nullfire Blade can also be very useful just for picking up kills. It does give a nice damage boost as well in that auto attack. Seeing as Fade does have some minus mana abilities with that Cull, does synergize fairly nicely as well. Looks like Riser's going to be working towards a Barrier Idol. I love that choice. We've talked about Barrier Idol quite a bit in recent casts. Not only a great item for its defensive properties in those team fights, but also a great item for pushing those towers, as of course it is applicable to creeps as well. Always a big fan of Barrier Idol, and glad we're seeing it a bit more prevalent. Prevalently, I guess, is prevalently a word. Seeing its appearance more often is a better way to coin it. Pebbles, though, going to go ahead and pick up the Warp Cleft here, so going to be moving straight into that Demonic Breastplate. A little bit surprised to see the Warp Cleft come out before the Soul's Bulwark, though. Not that it's a bad choice, just generally speaking, we see the Soul's Bulwark come out first. It is going to up the DPS here from Pebbles quite a bit, as I mentioned, turning him into a little bit more of a right-click auto-attack DPS hero, which he certainly can be. That ultimate is very powerful. One thing to note, though, that fairly recent change to Pebbles, changing the way the ult works and the way it scales, it does make him a little bit more powerful early on, but later on, it does reduce some of that scalability. So some of that viability that Pebbles did have as far as being a right-click DPS carry hero, it's still there, it's still viable, but not quite as viable as it was pre-nerf, however long ago it was. A couple patches now, at least a month or so. Since it passed. You're going to see some initiation here, though. Magma's going to go straight in, balls to the wall. Slick's going to be able to activate that Shrunken Head. It does do a hell of a lot of damage to the Fade. Is it going to be enough, though? Not the best engage this Hellborn team has had. The Piercing Arrows not going to connect so well either, and this is really turning into a sloppy engage. The Hellborn team going to burn a lot of cooldowns. Maybe able to pick up a kill onto Glacia's Champion Newark streak now coming out for Forsaken Archer. So it's not a bad team fight by any means. A 1-for-0 exchange. They do keep the Cower safe, but they need to be very careful. That was a very sloppily executed team fight as far as Magnus going in before the rest of the team was ready. The Piercing Arrows really not doing much damage. Picking up a kill on level 9 Glacias, that's great. Now your Forsaken Archer is 12-1, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. So, not bad, but definitely could have capitalized a little bit more. Slicks is getting dangerously close to that Demonic Breastplate, and that's going to be a time when things start to get a little bit scary. I have a strong feeling Empath is going to be start working towards an Abyssal Skull. As things continue here, only going to synergize with Pebbles that much more, and I think that added armor would work very, very nicely against this Forsaken Archer. Actually, no Ring of the Teacher for this Legion team at all right now. I'm a little bit surprised to see no Ring of the Teacher even on these supports right now. Hopefully that's where they go. Of course, there is a Ring of the Teacher here on the Hellborn side in the hands of that Forsaken Archer. So one of those differences that I've been pointing out a lot more frequently as of late, because it does make a big difference, especially in those team fights. That +3 armor on 5 heroes does add up. I mean, that's an additional 15 armor that otherwise wouldn't be there. Never underestimate the power of those aura items. It does really change the cost effectiveness of items that can be applied to multiple heroes if you're one who's interested in doing that. Very, very slow game here, though. It was pretty action-packed, but now things have slowed down quite a bit. TT Esports kind of, I don't know the right word. I don't want to say that they were throwing, but needing to be very careful here. Torturer going to get caught, is going to be able to tablet away, and now that's, oh no, the Repel going to come out. Fade going to kind of sacrifice himself to make it happen. The Magma's ulti going to come out, not going to be particularly potent. Water Rev going to come down here as well. Glacius going to try to do some counter warding action, but at what cost? And it's going to be his own life. A 2-for-0 exchange in favor of the Hellborn side. Again, not the kind of engage TT Esports is looking for. As I was just about to say, they had such a great lead, but now they're quickly falling further and further behind, now about 8,000 experience behind. Wow, that's the furthest they've been behind for a while. I think this is the biggest gold deficit as well. Not that it's too significant, but relative to the rest of this game, it's a pretty big freaking deal. Again, this is only the third round of this tournament. Still best of one very, very early on. For TT Esports to get eliminated here would be a very big upset. Still a long way to go, but this Forsaken Archer is still going crazy. Her farm not decreasing whatsoever. She's currently on a Heroes of Newark streak. One more kill and it's going to be a bloodbath. There's been no sign of being able to shut down this Forsaken Archer. One of the reasons why Jerizai is such a scary hero, and we see him banned so frequently, as well as Electricians picked up, because throwing that Repel on a Forsaken Archer, it's a free Shrunken Head. The heal as well as the ultimate, so many opportunities for Forsaken Archer to avoid death. It's pretty freaking ridiculous. We see Hallett's now with another 4,300 gold in the bank as the Ancients are getting taken out yet again. Pretty curious to see what item he's going to transition into next. Of course, no Orb Effect quite yet. Be curious to see which one he opts to pick up. Is it going to be Lifesteal? He could move into Shield Breaker as well. Or very well just could go straight for a Savage Mace out of this. A little bit hard to say. Maybe Shield Breaker wouldn't be the best avenue, given Pebbles does have a pretty solid amount of armor, especially with that Demonic Breastplate coming out. So maybe just a Frostwolf Skull wouldn't be a bad choice either. Going to continue with sort of that tanky route to mitigate some of the burst. And actually the Frostwolf Skull I think might be the right choice here. As long as he can survive the burst from this Legion side, which he's been doing thus far without the tanky item that is Frostwolf Skull, I think that would be the right choice here. And seeing how much gold he's pulling up here certainly could be the viable option. I believe Frostwolf Skull is 6,200. That about right? Sounds close. 6,200. There we go. Right on the money. So he's getting pretty close, about 1,500 off or so, if the Frostwolf Skull is going to be his item of choice. Now, if Magnus is truly going for that cheap stick, he's getting pretty close as well. Only about 1,500 off or so. Still sitting on that Blessed Orb. Forsaken Archer not going to be Frostwolf Skulling it for us tonight, though. He's going to go ahead and grab that Slayer. So it looks like straight into the Savage Mace. No problem with that either, as it is quite the powerful carry item. Pebble's getting close to his demonic breastplate now, as he has about 700 in the bank. I think he just needs 900 for that recipe, and that may be TT Esports' sign to try and get a little more aggressive here. I don't think it's in TT Esports' best interest to just keep waiting this out. Maybe the demonic breastplate is what they were waiting for, and now we'll see them finally get a bit more aggressive. About 40 minutes in, this is when Kongor is going to start being a little bit more of a prevalent force in this game. Both teams going to be looking to make sure Kongor is heavily protected. Actually, no Legion wards in the Kongor pit at the moment, which is a little bit unsettling, I suppose, as if Forsaken Archer picked up the token, I think I could see things being very, very bad for TT Esports. A little bit surprised to see they don't have that region on total lockdown right now. Still very, very passive, though. Been quite some while since we have seen a kill on either side. Not too much action coming about. Of course, the Demonic Breastplate now sitting in the inventory. Any other big item pickups being made? No, not that I've seen. Forsaken Archer does now have enough to finish that Savage Mace, of course, pulling that gold just in case a buyback is needed in one of these upcoming team fights. Still no buybacks to use now, which is a little bit surprising as well, seeing as we're 40 minutes in. But still, good news, I suppose. A very, very strange game. Sort of almost feels like it's being drug out, though it is remarkably even right now. I'm definitely a bit surprised. B-Rez is playing much better than one would have thought. You know, an unknown team going up against the #1 seeded team in the tournament. So the fact that the game's gone on this long and it wasn't just a quick stomp by TT Esports, I think is a testament to this Hellborn side, for sure. Take a look at the damage done, just for kind of shits and giggles here. Forsaken Archer sitting at 21% of the hero damage done, so that shows how important she is. Again, to reiterate that point, yeah, she sits in the back and unloads the hand cannons. That's going to be great for the Hellborn side, but if she gets initiated on, if she gets caught out, if she runs out of buybacks, it's going to be rough. I mean, she is pretty much all they have. She is their source of damage. So just have to be wary, have to be very, very careful. It's all about the positioning, and with that gotcha mentality that the Legion team has, I think that may be what TT Esports is waiting for. Again, they're slowly grinding their way back here. We see this deficit slowly closing now in favor of the Legion team. Again, reiterating that point that TT Esports, just with better map control over around, much better at keeping up that jungle clearing rotation, stacking and killing the Ancients at every minute spawn. Certainly very, very important. I'll be honest, I was not anticipating a game of this length. I wish I had got more water because I'm running low and my whistle is dry. Gotta keep your whistle wet. It's breezy. Oh my word. This is one of those games where I just want to turn on some music partway through. It's like that one time we did the 1v1 tournament and it was Tempest versus Tempest in the finals. Best of 3. 15 minutes watching Tempest farm, watching the other Tempest farm. That's exactly what this reminds me of. Oh my, oh my. Should we cue up some tunes here? So are we finally going to see? No. I tapped out for a second and I saw heroes converging. I was like, oh, no. Fade now picking up a Shrunken Head. Certainly a good item pickup as well. Torturer has now finished the Frostwolf Skull. So that item pickup that I was talking about with Forsaken Archer is going to be completed on Torture. We did see the Ice Brand earlier. And I think there was a timing window where they could have capitalized on that sort of crappy item for Torturer. Now it is a Frostwolf Skull, though, going to be a little bit more difficult to shut him down. Frostwolf Skull, always a popular item. Forsaken Archer with about 5.5k in the bank. Going to be able to finish that Savage Mace here. It looks like there it is. Yep, still with 2,300 in the bank or so. So going to have plenty of gold for buyback should he go down in the upcoming team fight here. A very, very dull game though. I don't really know what else to say other than somebody needs to kill somebody. You know, it's kind of funny. I was at my dad's, or my friend's house the other day watching the Euro finals, the Spain versus Italy match that everyone was talking about, that I was talking about a lot. And it was pretty funny because his dad really likes North American football. His dad's like an all-American kind of guy. And we were watching soccer and he's just like, hit him! Oh, why isn't he killing him? I'm just like, you can't hit people in this game. That's not how it works. And I was kind of in my head thinking, oh, what a douchebag, man. All these people get hurt. Now I feel like the same thing. I was sitting here just like, yeah, they're farming. This is kind of a safe strategy, but I don't know. It's kind of weird, you know, just sitting here just like, let me just fucking kill him, murder him, cut his head off, decapitate him, do something. Be aggressive, cross the river. Oh, my. Savage Mace has been picked up, though. Pebbles has now picked up his Elder Parasite, so we're getting to that point where the inventories are getting pretty dense, both sides finishing up that kind of third round of core items. So I think somebody's going to get aggressive here before too long, hopefully, maybe at some point. Of course, the Hellborn side, I see some people in chat. It is Easy Breezy. Their name here is B-Rez. I don't know how B-Rez translates to Easy Breezy, I guess. Oh, I get it. Breezy. Oh, that's clever. I actually really like that. I didn't catch the capitalized Z. Breezy. Easy Breezy. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Taking on this Hellborn team, though, man, they're definitely holding their own. I can understand why they're not playing so aggressive, because they don't want to blow a good thing that they have coming for them. I mean, so far they've been defending TT Esports very well, and TT Esports is now like, okay, we tried being aggressive, that didn't work, now we're going to try being defensive and using our superior map mechanics to take control of this game. Hellborn side, kind of like, well, we had a good thing going, we were defending, but now they're not pushing. What do? We're kind of afraid to overcommit and push and give away this lead that we built for ourselves. So I sort of see where they're coming from, but it's a little bit tricky. Of course, I missed the first kill in 15 minutes here. Torture is going to go down. It looks like he's just going to get jumped by Slicks. Very unfortunate. TT Esports now going to move in. Looks like they are going to take out Kongor, so pretty easy Kongor kill on the way. We'll see if the Hellborn side decides to check it. Torturer is dead. No money for buyback, and I don't know that they're really going to be able to pose a defense too easily here. I can't believe I missed that kill. I so was not ready for it. When there's no kill for that long, you tunnel vision in, and then, yeah, and Torturers die. So I'd like to say it was a nice kill, but we didn't get to see it. Kongor is getting pretty low here. Hellborn side getting close to posing some sort of a defense. Actually, no wards on the map at all right now, except for TT Esports with a couple up here on the plateau. Kongor is going to go down. Token going to go into the hands of a Mr. Pebbles there, or Mr. Slicks playing Pebbles. And, of course, TT Esports going to use that as their signal to get back, retreat, better keep farming now that we have the token. And that is what they're going to do. They do have 3 Shrunken Heads now across their entire team. So perhaps waiting until those 5 Shrunken Heads come out before they get too crazy. Empath is up to about 2.4k gold. Curious to see where she goes with it. Of course, could have right-clicked an Abyssal Skull 500 gold ago. So I'm actually really going to be curious if she is going to pick up that Abyssal Skull, as I was sort of suggesting, or go for something else. Maybe even a Storm Spirit. Might not be a bad choice here. Hellborn team continuing to play passive, farming the Ancients. Legion team continuing to play passive, farming the Ancients. Alright. Both teams kind of lined up in the mid here. Could potentially see some kind of a cataclysmic engage. If either team wants to be a little aggressive. Oh, Illusionary Veil going to come out. Oh, Volley almost going to connect. A little bit close. Almost connecting onto Pebbles, but unfortunately just going to fall short. There it is. The initiation going to come onto Torturer yet again. Looks like Torturer may fall. The fight split into 2 spots. Leon Black going to be able to pick up a kill onto Magmus. Magmus did not get the ultimate off, and that's going to be huge. Now we're going to see Forsaken Archer in big trouble. He's going to have plenty of money for a buyback. It's looking like he is going to fall. Pebbles is, well, blessed by the Empath right now, but it just doesn't matter. enough magic damage to finish off a couple of kills here despite the Zyori ult coming out. Beautifully done by TT Esports. A 1 for 5 exchange. Of course, picking up the Genocide right there. Who has money for buyback? Only Forsaken Archer. So after all this time of waiting, it looks like TT Esports is going to be able to make something happen here. We're coming out way ahead in that team fight. Beautifully done. I mean, that's exactly what they're waiting for. That one fatal misstep where they could jump on Torturer. Torturer did nothing in that fight. Magnus got jumped on. He did nothing in that fight. And by the time that initial jump was done, they were already dead. Zyori didn't get to ulti until Forsaken Archer was taking some damage. Horribly executed fight for Easy Breezy. They've been playing well up until now, but that fight really could not have gone much worse for them. They did pick up a kill on the Glacius, but whoop-de-fucking-do. Down in the bottom lane, of course, here in the mid lane, of course, the racks are going to fall. The bottom lane tower getting pretty low. Looks like it's not going to fall. Some heroes going to pop back up here. Forsaken Archer is actually going to use a buyback. Still 3,200 gold in the bank. So they are going to keep the bottom lane of racks safe. The tower is going to stay alive. The problem, though, now they are just so far behind. I believe Pebbles still has the token. Indeed, he does, as well as 5,000 gold in the bank. So Slicks is at that point now where he's going to be able to right-click a really scary item coming up here pretty quick as well. And that is just further bad news bears for the Hellborn team. Empath did make an executive decision here with gold sitting with 1,600. There it is. Actually going to go ahead and grab a Hellflower. So that's what he's been spending that money on. Not going to go the Abyssal Skull as I was thinking, but Hellflower going to be a great choice here. Once that Null Stone of Forsaken Archer is burned, the Hellflower going to be very important to helping focus her down. Also a great item for a hero like Zyori. If you can initiate with a nice 4-second silence, makes it pretty hard for him to get that ultimate off just in the nick of time. Are you going to see the tier 2 tower in the mid lane fall, it looks like, or he's going to get dangerously low. Frey going to use the glyph. That'll buy him a little bit of time. They're going to go straight in. Torture going to be the first to fall yet again. WTF going to be the one to pick up that kill. All these Shrunken Heads activated. Tundra up in the front lines here. And still no more kills coming out. Looks like Zyori may be the next to fall. Leon Black going to be the one to pick up that kill. Pebbles has Empath in him, and he's doing as much damage as possible. Can it combo down one of the Forsaken Archer illusions? Unfortunately, not going to catch the right Forsaken Archer. Pebbles still with the token in hand, is willing to man up here. Forsaken Archer going to be able to port out. Whoa! Another kill going to be in the mid. Pardon me, as Leon Black on Fade does pick up a double tap here as he finishes off Magnus. So another very convincing team fight here for the Legion side. I don't think anybody went down. No buybacks were used. They're all still alive, and they do pick up 3 kills of their own. Token still not burned. I think this bottom lane of racks is finally going to go down. Looks like they may go in and just backdoor the tower as it is very low. Yeah, Pebble's just going to go straight in and play whack-a-mole. Paul's going to come out, but they are going to unpause right away here. So, yep, tower going to fall. Looks like the exposed rack's going to fall pretty quickly here. Ranged racks shortly to follow. So, TT Esports looking in great shape, although it was a rocky game. Probably should have been able to win it much earlier on. 50 minutes in, they are now finally in a position where it looks like they may be able to take this game. They're going to drop some initiation. I saw that Hellflower come out to completely obliterate Pimp Slayer. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to survive to tell the tale of TT Esports in the main base. One lane of racks remaining before TT Esports sort of seals the deal here if they haven't already. The way I think about it, with 1 lane down, it's usually over, but they don't want to concede. 2 lanes down, it's pretty over. 3 lanes down, G. So I'm sure TT Esports going to regroup, maybe get some mana going on here, and then just head up to that top lane. At the very least, take out this last remaining tier 2 tower for the Hellborn side. Pebbles with 7,000 gold in the bank. Can't really do much with it right now. Still has a minute left on the token, and it looks like it is going to expire instead of being used in a fight. So I'm actually curious what he's going to do with all this gold. Pebbles Doombringer, perhaps. I know a lot of options here. Who knows? Tundra going to be able to pick up a Sheep Stick as well, so he's looking to be quite potent. And I think I saw with Talba actually be one to go ahead and grab a Void Talisman. So a smart pickup. Again, Juro here going to come out for Pebbles. So that is an interesting choice. I've actually seen this before. I believe it turns him into an even better initiation tool. It takes him from that one-hit wonder with the combo to actually be able to do some follow-up damage. He can sneak up some kills. A nice item pickup. Very crafty indeed. So it should be interesting. We'll see how Slicks uses the Genjuro. Still about 1,100 in the bank. So he's going to be saving up for that buyback. Whenever applicable. TT Esports in that position, though, they are just so far ahead. I think they are going to be able to seal the deal reasonably quickly here. Unfortunate that Pebbles wasn't able to hang on to the token much longer. Congo not going to be up for another 3 minutes or so. I don't know if they're going to. They may opt to wait for it, but time will tell. Over on the Hellborn side of things, there are still some more big item pickups being made. We're going to see Forsaken Archer here go ahead and pick up a Dancing Blade to complement the rest of her carry items. Still trying to make sure she has enough gold pulled up for buybacks. Of course, the only one to use a buyback so far, and arguably the most valuable buyback remaining here, is she's still very staggered away from the team. But, of course, the Legion side has closed the gap that was there earlier on in this game, and now this is when things really look scary. Other item pickups, we have seen Magnus pick up his Sheep Stick, though it doesn't really seem like he's been able to do too much with it thus far. Magnus has had a couple of huge ultimates this game, but also a couple of whiffs as well. So he's sort of been hit or miss, but definitely had a couple of big plays that do come to mind. Two Health Flowers now complete for the Legion side. We did mention that on Fade earlier on. Would love to see him pick up a Health Flower, and of course he is going to do that here. Maybe TT eSports is just going to wait for Kongor before they put that final bit of pressure on. They are still just playing oh so passively. I'm still a little bit shocked, pardon me, sorry about that camera jerking. Still a little bit shocked to see how passive they're playing here. Especially now, given their lead, you know, earlier on we could sort of reason it, but now it looks like they're either going to wait for Kongor or just finish this last round of items. I think Slicks is going to have more than enough for buyback at this point by the time they sort of force a fight. And I don't see too many other items under construction. You do see Forsaken Archer has now finished up her wing bow, so she's getting pretty close to capped out. Going to have one more item slot to deal with. Still yet to pick up an orb effect. I do like the choice for wing bow. It is an extraordinarily high damage output item, though the evasion really not going to do a hell of a lot to keep her alive. I mean, it will help, but that huge amount of magic damage, it's really what's been shutting her down. Last little sip of water. The problem here, though, you know, I don't know how much longer this game's going to go on. We're 53 minutes in. Forsaken Archer still without an attack modifier, and that's what makes me a little bit nervous. At this point, you might as well start working on that symbol of rage. Start picking up, you know, those items where, you know, where you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, we'll save that for later. That's not an item slot. Well, what the hell did I just do? Oh, there we go. You know, we're going to save that item for later. This is later. This is that time you start picking it up. I think Lifesteal would be a great addition to the items that Forsaken Archer does have. We're going to see some initiation here. WTF going to get caught out. The rest of the team going to come in. Pebbles is on his way. It looks like the initiation onto Torture going to be too much for him to handle. Pebbles just doing so much damage here with that empath inside of him. He is just tearing faces. Forsaken Archer going to stand his ground. Pebbles going to go toe-to-toe with him, it looks like, but it's not going to be enough. Slicks is just out of control right now. WTF is going to pick up that last kill here, and it looks like Witchslayer going to be the last to fall. Is going to be able to dodge the Slagmites, but it doesn't matter. Slick's going to move in and pick up a hat trick here as he is now on an onslaught streak. That's exactly what carry Pebbles is all about. Between the empath buff as well as the Genjuro, that attack speed is just ridiculous. And absolutely well played by Slick. So, you know, for those of you in question, Pebbles can play carry. I said it earlier on in this game, he's going to transition into this role. For those of you, the few of you perhaps that were skeptics about if he was actually going to be able to do that, I think this game is living proof that Pebbles can out-carry a Forsaken Archer in some situations. So GG well played to come out, the vote to concede. It doesn't really matter though, as we do see the throne is going to get taken down. So a nice game 3 for us here, although it was looking a little bit rough for TT eSports. They were able to bring it out in the end after a very, very nice game. Slick's going to end that game 11-5 and 13, 350 creep kills. That is one farmed Pebbles. Of course, I'm Zyori from ZyoriTV. Thank you for joining us here for the Clan Milk $2,500 HoN Open. Of course, get at me on the social networking, Facebook and Twitter.com/ZyoriTV, YouTube.com/ZyoriTV1. Hopefully should have another game coming up reasonably quickly.